Hi, everybody. Welcome to Jenny's Way. Today, Jeanne Bessette will be enlightening us as to the healing, power, and joy of art. Jeanne is an artist, speaker, writer, healer, and a teacher. She shares her insights on finding balance and flow in life, and also the power of perspective and ability to choose our own experiences. Get ready, y'all! Jeanne Bessette is here with us on Jenny's Way podcast show. I'm so happy to see you and hear you and get your wisdom shared with my listeners. Can you do me a favor? Introduce yourself. I would like to hear it from you.
Indeed. My name is Jeanne Bessette. Thank you so much for the invite. It's so happy to be with you. I'm an artist. I'm a speaker. I'm a writer, a healer, a teacher, all the things fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where
I work
do we
with people.
begin?
I say, what was that? Go ahead.
Where do we begin? A writer, a healer, an artist?
Where do we begin? Indeed. Probably with the art, because the art is very healing. So, and it is the thing that I face forward with as my thing in the world. So let's do that.
Let's start there. How's your story? How did your story started as an artist? Who inspired you to be who you are as an artist today?
Thank you, love. I was born this way, and I don't know if your audience knows this. We had some technical difficulties, so if we seem like we're a little frazzled, that's all it is. All is well. I was born this way. I can't help myself. I did not know that I was going to create a thriving career as an artist, because I had other loves as well. I love healing work and energy work and spiritual work. And so what was beautiful was the thing that I didn't know was coming was that I could do all of them. You know, I could heal through my art. I could assist others through my art. I could assist others in helping people understand how to live in flow. I mentioned writing. I'm currently writing a book about alchemized freedom, about how to move from trauma.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's very exciting. It's actually my second book. I did finish another book. I just haven't published it yet, and I'm choosing not to do it yet. I want to do the other one first. So I'm listening to my guidance, my intuition, my guides, my heart, and I'm following it the best I can every day.
That's amazing. How do you get in the flow? What tools are you using to start your day in that creation, in that excitement, and being true to who you are?
Thank you. That's a beautiful question. And a loaded one. It has stacks and stacks and layers of answers, right?
You're welcome to get it under whatever angle make you happy.
Indeed, thank you. Just about everything makes me happy, so that's good. I meditate every day. Sometimes they're short meditations, sometimes they're longer meditations. I study with masters of spirituality. I have memories of past lives studying with artists, masters who are artists. I do have some memory of those experiences. But to get myself in the creative flow every day is not about making art. It is about what I'm now calling the golden cord. And the golden cord was shown to me once in a vision, fairly recently, actually.
Wow.
And what I was shown was, and some people call it true north, some people call it alignment, you can call it anything you want, but I'm very visual. So whenever I meditate or I go into journeys or anything like that, I'm often shown things in color and pictures or metaphors because of my visual nature. So I call it my golden cord, and I check in with myself. Is my cord running through the center of my body? Is it running from the cosmos into the planet so that I'm grounded, yet I'm connected to my higher self? Has it been pulled askew by something that happened yesterday? Is it still perhaps, right, when we pull a guitar string? Is it still vibrating? And is it vibrating at something somebody else pulled? So that's not my balanced place. That's not my flow. That's not my, right? That's not my home base. So when my golden cord is askew, I'm learning how to see it. And then I'll ask the question, and I do a lot of journaling as well. I love to write. And I'll ask the question, I won't ask the question, what caused the cord, but I'll say, what do I need to do to bring the cord back to center? And sometimes I'll get an answer about something that did happen that either made me angry or made me sad or caused me to react in a way that I wasn't really very happy with myself. Which would also make me happy, which would also make me angry.
Not happy with yourself? No.
Indeed, right? Oh, listen, I got to get there first because I don't want anybody else beating me up anymore. I got to do it faster than you. So that is predominantly how I spend every day. I don't I'm a creative person who lives in flow, so I'm not the kind of person necessarily who wakes up at the same time every day. I'm not the person who has to do the same exact thing or in the same way every day. But this particular practice before the day begins truly puts me in a place to listen to the things that we don't necessarily listen to. And when we're not listening to those things, we're not listening to our higher guidance or our intuition. And we're not doing that, we're letting our ego drive the bus. And I will tell you that when Jeanne drives the bus, she endangers everyone almost every time.
I wonder why, Jeanne.
Mostly, I'm just kidding. Jeanne is needed. Jeanne is a great painter. She knows what colors to pick. She knows what marks to make. So I enjoy that aspect of being a human. But when we get to a place where we've been carrying so much what I would call childhood trauma, and we don't know the patterning that's occurring because of that trauma, or we don't know it's really why we're becoming ill, then we have to really start taking a look at things that are much bigger than us. We have to start looking at the bigger picture of things. Mind, spirit, mind, emotional, body, right? It all has sort of a hierarchy of, suffering, pain, which is part of being here. Pain is inevitable. It's the suffering that we keep looping back into.
Suffering is optional. Pain is. This is so gold, Jeanne. When you were telling your story, the golden cord, some people can't unable to see that particular vision, and I want to try to maybe slightly simplify it. To me, it's like being in grounding and being in balance. It's feeling the peace and being in balance, and whatever metaphor or vision that is for them, they may not necessarily be a golden cord. It may be for them is just laying there at the beach and being at peace, or being at the mountains and hugging the trees. See, for every one of us is different. And for me, I don't even know which one. I love both the beach and the tree. But to make my point, it's like the peace and the flow. If we're not in the peace and the flow, we can't create. And for people like you, I kind of want to see what is helping you to unblock that flow.
Oh, what a great question. What I'm going to say about that might be a bit of a surprise. When my flow is...
I love surprises. Give it to us.
Okay, good. When my flow is blocked, I let it be blocked for a little bit.
Okay.
Because often what we do, so if let's say, and it happens happens all the time, of course. Right?
It is normal. I think it happens to all of us. See, another thing is people feel like they have to be perfect all the time and they have to flow all the time. But is it realistic? Is it maybe too much of expectation?
No, of course not. And what I'm learning and what I'm beginning to truly understand about this, and much later in life, I wish I had learned this much, much earlier, is that everything has a rhythm. And so if we are feeling angst or blocked or not creative or just like not feeling well, right? We don't like that. We want to get rid of that as fast as possible.
Wow, that's giving me, I felt it as you were saying that. Wow.
Right? Because
Yes.
nobody, right? Because there's plenty of pain. We can tap into the pain very, very easily. In fact, we're kind of almost programmed for it. It's
Why is it? We're getting off the tangent, but this is such a juicy conversation. Why do we get into the pain so easy, but experience the joy and happiness for us? We have to work at it. What is it?
I have a few theories that I'll share with you. One is that we come from peace and bliss and joy. That's where we come from. We already know what that feels like. So if we're coming to something new and we're coming to something different, there are, my understanding is there are universes that are set up that way, peace and joy. I mean, I believe that we're not the only, creatures in the cosmos. And so, but if we come to this planet and we know that we've come to learn, we know that we've come to expand, we know that we've come to grow. But when we're looking at it from wherever we are out there, right, it's like a speck and it looks very exciting, right? I bet you it's really glittery. I mean, I can't wait to see what it looks like from out there, right? But then we get here, and please forgive my language. My friend calls it the oh shit moment. When we come in and we say, oh no, wait, holy cow, But to answer your question, nobody wants to feel pain. That's not exciting. It feels bad. We judge it. So what happens is, instead of moving through it and sometimes even investigating it, because usually it's not the thing that happened in that moment. I don't know about you, but when I'm triggered by somebody, it's almost never something that happened for the very first time in my life.
Yeah. So with you, it's like reminding us of bad experiences from the past.
Of course, over and over and over and over. So the shadow work that I've done, and I do with people occasionally. I don't do one-on-one clients as much as I used to. I don't have the time. But when I do, we have to go to that place. And you know what? I was having a conversation with someone yesterday about this, and I said, this work, this healing work, it's not always fun. And it's never easy. And if we would tell people that, they would never give us their money. So, but the bottom line is if we're a little bit more honest with people, right? The only reason that I talk about any of this stuff, and I talk about it in the work world because I'm a successful artist, I talk about it as a creative, I talk about it as an entrepreneur, I talk about it as a woman in the work world. I mean, I can come at it from every angle, any angle. But whenever I'm looking at the trajectory of anyone, the first thing we want to do is we actually have to learn that there's a lot to undo. And we don't get that really, right? We don't right, I don't want to go back there. I don't want to feel that again. I get it. But if you
unpacking is very important.
Unpacking is also hard.
Yes.
Right? So how about if we say it out loud? It's hard and it's okay. And we're right here and we're not that far ahead of you because we're having this really smart conversation. We're in the same place. We're all in this together.
Yeah. We're all having a human experience.
All having a human experience.
Sometimes I say I'm having a human moment. Leave me alone for a minute.
I'm feeling needy today. Please help.
Give me a minute. I need to breathe. I'm having a human moment.
No, that sort of brings me to something too. So we come in here to be humans, and then all we do is try to not be humans. Wait, what?
What just happened, right?
Right? So what if we kind of did both? What if the dance was taught in a way that we could beautify the good and the bad? We could feel the experience of joyfully feeling, wow, that hurts. I don't really think I like that very much. I can feel joyful that at least I experienced it because I learned something. I don't know about you. Every time my heart gets broken, it opens wider. So, but it takes a minute. I have to lick my wounds first. I have to be angry at the person who hurt me first. I have to be sad for a while. I have to feel low. Like I have to go through right, my human stepping stones. Now, sometimes I've done that where I've taken months to clear something.
Who's to say it will take a day? It could take 2 days.
Right. Sometimes minutes. And you're like, whoa, what just happened? I feel better because I look at it from a higher perspective. And once
it's all about perspective, isn't it?
There's only one perspective?
It's all about perspective.
Oh my goodness, right?
We can see different angles, and even for us, I think you mentioned at some point, not today was me, but before you were saying like, well, how I was today is not how I was 3 years ago for sure, but not even the same I was a month ago.
That's so funny. It's so true. I thank you for remembering that. It's so true. It is so true. And so many times we meet people and we act as though they are the old person. And sometimes they are. Sometimes people, they don't grow very much or they don't move very much outside of where they are. But many, many times I'll run into somebody and they will react to me from a person that I was a year ago. Oh my God, a year ago. That's 10 lifetimes.
But the trick is they're not going to hear the same answer from the person from a year ago. And then they go like, what just happened?
That's real. That's real. So it's a tricky place we live in, but it's a beautiful place. It's not boring.
Oh gosh, no.
Right? It's fraught with all kinds of curiosity and danger and adventure and things that we get to choose we want and things that we get to choose we don't want. And every single day, I remind myself in the morning and I remind myself in the afternoon. The other part of the answer to your original question was the way I get in flow, and that is to pull my energy back.
How do you do that?
Well, if I'm having a thought about someone else, I am sending energy in that direction. And when that happens, it ties a cord. So when we talk about, for example, I don't know if you've ever heard this, clearing cords. So when we're clearing cords, there are many, many ways to do it. You can, again, I'm visual. So sometimes I take my hands and I karate chop all around me. Like I'm cutting cords, I'm cutting cords. And then what I do is I pull back my energy. Like I visually feel it, see it, sense it, however you can do this. And for some people, they look at me and they go, I don't even know what you're talking about. I say, imagine if you have thought about others throughout the day, imagine like you're a tape recorder and you're sort of unthinking about them, right? You're bringing it back. You're reverse engineering the day. And you say, I am bringing all my power back. I'm bringing all my energy back, especially if I was upset with someone or angry with someone or missing someone or pining after, whatever it is. You're sending your energy out there. And that's fine. We do it all day long. We do it by nature. We can't help ourselves. So at the end of the day, we bring it back. And then I ask for pleasant dreams because I am a person who my whole life I've had nightmares.
Oh, wow.
I ask for pleasant dreams. Please give me messages in my dreams. Please continue my health. Please make me smaller. Please make me thinner. Please, whatever it is, right? And then in the morning, I get up and I say, thank you for all of the gifts that I was given while I was sleeping. And again, I pull my energy back in. And that's another version of how I'll start the day. I meditate almost every day, but sometimes, right, I got to get up, I got to get going, I've got an appointment, whatever it is. So I have like a quicker way of doing things. And that's just pulling back my energy, bringing it back into my body, which is what serves that golden cord. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Would you say, like, for people that it's hard to understand that cutting the cords and pulling your energy, would you say the more simple way is saying set the intention for the day?
Oh, absolutely. Intentions are imagination. Intentions, that's how we make things happen in our world. So let's say you have a desire for a child. Let's just do that one. Ultimately, it's a very good chance that you will get one because you have a desire and you put it out into the world. Now, what are you going to do? Are you going to, and this applies it's a funny metaphor that I use. So you want a child and you want to have your own child and you're healthy and you can, okay? And you have the counterpart to help you with that child. So there's no medical problems. What are you going to do next? You're going to sit on your couch all day and watch Netflix?
You gotta take an action that makes sense.
Gotta go do the thing that makes the child, right? So why is it so natural? We know how to make people. We know how that happens. Why, when we're trying to do something else in our lives, do we think we don't have to take action steps?
Wow, that's amazing what you just said. And that example is just like incredible. Like, why do you think you just wish it and it will happen? You still have to take the steps.
You still have to take the actions. So when I am creating my day, let's just one day. What do I want my day to be like? And sometimes I'll throw in really weird stuff. Like I want to meet a perfect stranger and we become wonderful friends. Like I'll add things like that.
Jeanne creates weird. No. Not you.
Just to say, okay, I'm going to add something, kind of extraordinary. Now, that might take a few days. It might not be just one day that would take a perfect stranger walking into my world, although honestly, it does happen fairly often. However, what I do then is I put myself into the thinking space, the feeling space, the emotional space to receive that. Now, what's going to receive that? Well, surely an open heart, right? If a perfect stranger decides they want to talk to me, it's because I did something, they felt something, I had a particular energy, and they wanted to talk to me, right? Now, I talk to a lot of people all day long, and thank goodness they don't all become my closest friends. However, I have met beautiful people doing this work and made many gorgeous friends, not all close friends. There's only a few of those, right? But beautiful people in the world, and people respond to your energy. That's how we make things happen. So we ask for the thing. My understanding and the way I believe is that our higher self, I call it the divine, but whatever's out there that is part of us, it's also in here, because as above, so below, as within, so without. If I want to receive something, I have to become the person who is already in the energy of receiving it. We don't make things happen. We walk into the manifestation that's already right there. It's right in front of us. It's like, hey, you wanted to be a billionaire. You wanted to be a mother. You wanted a new love in your life. Doesn't matter what it is. You have to become the person that attracts that thing you're asking for. Otherwise, you're going to get something and you're not going to love it. It's not going to be a perfect match. Makes sense?
That require preparation.
Absolutely. Every single day, every single minute. And that's what I think they mean by awareness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Aware of what we're doing. We're manifesting every day, all day long. We just don't call it that because we don't like what we're getting. right?
Oh, if you don't like it, change it.
If you don't like it, you have to change what's on the inside. Why did I get that, but it wasn't quite? Why did I get it? I don't know. Why did I wish for a brand new red Ferrari and my neighbor got one?
Oops. Oh, that hurts.
How close was I, though? Think about it, right? Whenever I'm in a near miss situation, I know the divine is setting me up to get there because I'm so close. I keep seeing it here. I keep seeing it over here. I see it. My friends call me, and they tell me all their wonderful stories. And I go, oh my goodness, mine's so close, because that's the energy that's around me right now. So we have to look at it as we used to persuade and cajole, right? Now we set it up to receive, but we don't do nothing. We're very active in our lives, just in a new way. And that's how I actually create paintings as well. I sit in that flow state.
What do you think the creating your life is almost like painting a picture of how you want it to look like?
I sure do. And then what happens is, if that's the goal, if that's the focus, right? What happens is we get all the things that are showing us how we're in the way of that. So let's say I'm looking for the love of my life, but I have a closed heart. I have a wounded heart. That love of my life could show up and not be a match for me because I'm still healing. So I'm going to attract somebody who's still healing. That's not always a fun journey. It can be. It can be. It can be very rewarding to build a life together in that way, because nobody comes like a clean slate.
Everybody comes with their trauma and drama, right?
We're all messy. That's what being here is all about. So anyway, I hope that answers.
Why do we expect the perfection if nobody's perfect?
Because it was implanted in us that perfection is the only way to get out of our misery. Right?
Yeah.
You'll never amount to this. You'll never be successful at that. You'll never be pretty enough. You'll never be this enough. You'll never be rich enough. You'll never be that enough. Those are the things that are told to us as little children. Now, the other things are told to us as well, but we tend to believe the bad stuff. Sort of going back to the thing I said, we already know what it feels like, right? We've been there. We're trying to get back to joy, but we have to clean up this little mess we made of ourselves.
Or being able to just leave it behind, which works for it.
Or leave it behind. That is absolutely true. I've had experiences where something will just drop away and I don't know how it happened.
And do you feel like you've been freed up, like the mountain off your shoulders is like, all the pressure is gone? It's like a liberation, like
Now you're asking about the alchemy of freedom. But yes, sometimes we don't understand how we got from point A to point B. It took a bunch of steps we did over there, and a bunch of people we took, worked with over here, a bunch of books we read in between, and all of a sudden, boom. And we think we, spontaneously healed. It's not really. We can.
You did the work.
But we did the work. We did the work.
Oh, So with my podcast, I want to inspire, encourage people to use their uniqueness as the guiding force, and kind of, can you help them with that? You
are standing square in my wheelhouse. I am the quirkiest, most unusual, biggest anomaly. People tell me all the time, they're like, how do you move in the world that way? I'm so quirky. I'm so unique. However, I also understand that, or I'm learning more, I should say. I'm a student of knowing that there's something about us that's all the same. We come from a uniqueness because I'm a fractal of that imagination. I am a piece of that thought of the divine. So I move through the world in my own way. But you and I are having this conversation because there is something that is the same. And we might not know what that is. It could just be the podcast, right? But for some reason, we were a yes. And so we come together to help others do the same thing. And when I talk about being unique, I'm not talking about being different. I'm talking about being you. Unique. You. That is in the unwrapping of what's not you.
Being true to yourself?
You can't, well, it's a good question. Do you show it to yourself?
Being true to yourself?
Oh, being true. I'm so sorry. I misunderstood. Being true to yourself. But then what does that mean? What is being true to yourself?
Yeah, I know. What do you know? How do you know it's the truth? What a profound question, isn't it?
It is. It's an extremely profound question because we spend our whole lives parroting others. We spend our whole lives, and dare I say, sometimes stealing from others, right? Stealing their ideas, stealing their concepts. We don't even do it consciously. Sometimes it just goes across our radar, and next thing you know, we're talking about something that somebody else has designed in their life or whatever, and we emulate a lot, which is great. I mean, artists do it all the time, right? We find something that inspires us, and then we make something about it our own, and we do it over and over and over. And next thing you know, we're a culmination of all of those experiences doing it the way I do it. However, I can get thrown off track very easily because there's 8 billion people in the world doing all kinds of things that I'm looking out there, right? How do I feel? Right? So that's where, right? A part of that is my morning practice.
Love it. Let's talk about that.
Energy. My morning practice when it's same I just shared, call in my energy. You know what else I do? Sometimes I switch up how I do my day. Like, so let's say every day you wake up. I'm not an alarm person, so I'm not shutting off my alarm.
I would never guess that.
So I wake up, I get up, I feed my dog, I let my dog out, I feed my dog, then I feed my cat, then I go to the bathroom. And then sometimes it's too early because my dog likes to get up early. I go back to bed. So what if that's my routine for like 127 days in a row? What if one day I decide I'm not going to do it that way? But what if I do it differently every 3 to 5 days? Tomorrow, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do all that, make sure I'm going to have enough sleep, and I'm going to stay up. The next day, I'm going to brush my teeth with my left hand instead of my right hand. I'm right-handed. The next day, I'm going to take a bath instead of a shower. The next day, right, you get the idea.
Yes.
Because what happens as humans is we get caught in this looping of the same thing over and over and over.
Some people call programming, Jeanne, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what I like to try to tell people or help people with is the first thing we got to do is deprogram who you think you are. So the getting up and changing things up is kind of a metaphor for that. It's a different way of being in the world, but it actually works because it does weird stuff to the brain. I'm not Joe Dispenza's got all that going on with all the things.
Allow Joe Dispenza. I have what, three books of his? Yeah.
He's absolutely wonderful. He's doing amazing work on the planet, and he can do all the science. All I know is it works. And kind of that's all I care about because I'm a creative genius. I want to have as much time as possible working on being a creative human in every way, because that's what I came to this planet to do. So that's my uniqueness in the world. I'm never going to do it like anybody else. How many artists do you think are on the planet? Never going to do it like anybody else. Nobody's ever going to do it like me, even if they do emulate, copy, steal, whatever it is people do sometimes.
It's not going to be you.
It's not going to be me. It's going to be a shadow version of them. So now how do we fix that? One of the ways that I teach people is a guided visualization that I do. And I do it with my personal clients, do it in my classes. And I'm thinking about putting it on my website for free, because when we do this, what we do, and again, I actually change up the visualization so that people don't get accustomed to doing even that the same time. I don't give them the formula. I teach them the formula so they themselves can change the way they do their meditation every day. And actually what they're kind of doing is they're sort of reprogramming things for themselves. And so that's one way. And the other way is through the shadow work, which is just inevitable for us to start undoing what we are not. The other is trust, faith. I have tremendous faith. I didn't always. I was always looking for clues and signs and show me and blah, 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 blah. But now I have this newfound faith. Everything always works out in my favor, Jim Carrey said. Everything always works out in my favor. I'm a strong believer of it. And I know by so many experiences that I've had that once you do believe it and you don't question it, your life changes dramatically, almost seemingly overnight. So it's another method. You know, they're all just beautiful tools that we can use to help each other out.
Yeah, I think the meditation is a great tool, but some people even hear the word and they just run away. Well, then start with just breathing, right?
I was one of them. I was one of them. But you know what? I do a walking meditation. I do
That's awesome.
Painting meditation. I do when I'm working, I can go into a state of meditation. Like, in other words, let's say I'm working on the yard like this. I live in Asheville, North Carolina. So leaves galore in the past month. And all I was ever doing was either raking or blowing leaves. But I would take that experience and I would turn it into like a meditation. How can I stay present in what I'm doing? How can I enjoy the back and forth that my dog loves when I blow leaves and he runs up and down and he tries to catch them? How can we make this fun? So these are all little tiny forms of, they're not conventional meditation, but they're a practice of mindfulness. And so when people can't meditate, because for sure, I get it, for real, because I have a very, very active way of being in the world. So for me to meditate, I think I'm going to die. But I learned to do it. I learned to do it, and I learned to dedicate myself to it because it changed my life. It changed everything.
I think starting with small steps is important. Just do little step. What if it's a couple of breaths? Great. Or if it's kind of being focused in the present moment and not worry about what just happened, or whatever the little steps is, and just try to focus on that and add a little bit, maybe every week, just a little further. And then next thing you know, you can meditate maybe for a minute. And that's all you can start with.
5 minutes is all you really need. And I know other people will say differently, but for me, if I go beyond 5 minutes, I'm already like, what should I be doing? And I've figured out, I don't know if I've figured out, but I've kind of learned that 5 minutes for me right now could be longer later, right? I know people who meditate for hours and hours. I'm not that human. It's not how I'm designed. So why can't it be okay that I just do it this way? That way people don't have to feel so bad all the time when they feel like they can't do something somebody else is doing well.
But what works for them, maybe somebody needs an hour and you might need just 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Who's to say that you need an hour, right, to meditate?
Yep.
Or maybe you need 2 minutes. What if you just need to take a couple of breaths and that's all you need in that moment?
Sometimes just a couple of breaths. Glennon Doyle says when it's really bad, just get a glass of water. Take a minute.
What if you just go outside and walk around the block?
Yeah.
I often do that.
I do it all the time, yeah, because I live in the forest. So all the time I spend a lot of time with the trees. I'll walk my dog often because my dog has amazing energy. And I always feel better after I come back from a walk with my dog. So those are the ways that we find. And again, that answers your question a little bit more about what do I mean by unique? What is so wonderful in your world that's something you want to do every day? What is it? And if you figure that out and you move the things out of the way that are in the way of that, you're on your way. Pat yourself on the back.
You're unstoppable then, right? Pat yourself
Are
on the back.
unstoppable. When you're in flow, what I've noticed when I'm in flow, I actually am unstoppable. You can't catch me when I'm in flow.
Try. You won't, right?
Right? You can't catch me when I'm in flow.
Jeanne, let's go.
That's why I'm not in flow all the time.
Saving the energy for being in flow.
Nobody would find me ever again.
I'm saving the energy to be in the flow.
Right. Oh my goodness. But this is something that I've spent a lot of time learning for myself. And so now I teach it to artists. I teach it to non-artists, right? Because it's all the same. Like you said, we're painting the picture of our life.
I think that could be applied to anything. What about business people that all the entrepreneurs that had to wear 20,000 hats all in one day? They don't have to, but they're choosing to. They can build a team and hire other people. But that means dealing with people. Oh my God, I can't deal with people. Is that going to create more problems? And then the spiral will just keep going and going. It's like, do I do all 10 heads at once? Or do I figure out how to build the team and create the team? That brings it all different challenges. How do they know? Are they where they need to be?
Well, are you asking me to speak to that?
Yeah, how do you know I know you had put the hat as a business person, I'm sure.
Yeah, what I call that is kind of like scalability, right? So when you're, for example, so I'm an artist. If I die tomorrow, there's no more art. Nobody's making art, right? So that's not scalable, right? So service-oriented people can be the same, massage therapists, even doctors, attorneys, right? They're service-oriented. If something happens to them, what they do stops. So then what we do is we say, okay, depending on what you want in your world, some artists, they just want to paint. They want to be artists. This is their life. This is how they're going to do it. And they're done. But if we're entrepreneurs and we want to scale, then we actually have to, at some point in the beginning, you are, of course, head chef and bottle washer all day long. You're doing all the jobs. But at some point, that becomes unscalable. So if I'm running my business, let's say 60 to 70% of the time, and I'm painting 40 to 30% of the time, when will I have time to write, for example? So if and we could put any percentages we want in there. So at some point, yes, I have to begin to let go of the reins and decide that I'm going to trust that someone knows how to do something better than me, and that we're going to
wait. That's ego's going to tell you no one can do better than me.
My ego isn't my we've done a lot of work on that one.
Not saying your ego.
No. This is important for people to understand, though, because we do think we've failed if we have to ask for help. It's just not true. I have a bookkeeper and an accountant. I have a publicist. I have a literary agent. I have a business manager. I have a spiritual advisor. I have a partner in a couple of projects that are going for. Like, I have all these people in my world. And I have a website designer. I have a social media. Like, wow. Now that I'm thinking about it, holy cow. I don't know when that happened, but it happened, right? I have to trust myself. If I can trust myself, let's go back to that golden cord, pull it in, and I'm trusting myself, then my intuition, my higher knowing is going to guide me in the right direction. Now, if it doesn't, am I mad at my higher knowing? No, I pivot. The person's fired, or we let them go, or we part ways and we go, okay, you know what? I thought this was a match. Here's all the reasons why. Or maybe it was a match before and somebody has changed and now we're not a match anymore. No hard feelings unless somebody does something on purpose. Let's move on. Mm-hmm. We don't know how to do that. We think we've failed every time we have a hiccup and it's supposed to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect.
Never going to be perfect. And
right?
We have to be able to pivot, understand we did what we saw was right at that given moment. We trust ourselves that we're making the right decision, and if it doesn't work, pivot and do it again.
Try again. Try again. That's how I became a master painter. Try again. Do it differently. What went wrong? Why doesn't it look right? How are you feeling? We just got to give ourselves a break. That's what we need to do. We need to have a little more compassion for ourselves. And when we do that, we can open ourselves up to receiving the assistance that is available to us at all times. Comes through voices in the back of my head, comes through somebody says something in a grocery store, you say something on a podcast, I might learn something beautifully. You know, everybody is a reflection of us. So we're all in this together.
But just now, you didn't even realize how many people you collaborating with, how many people are helping you create your vision. It's like, wait, I have, wait, I have a social media person. And how that happened? It finally happened. You got to the point you realize I don't need to do all with myself. We're co-creating in this energy, in this environment. You surround your people that help you with that energy to propel you to your uniqueness.
Yeah. And nor do I have the time to do it all, right?
No.
Because I came here to be creative and to help others and to teach, right? And to write. When am I going to do those things, right?
Yeah.
So balance, it's a big deal. Balance is a very, very big deal.
Yeah, if you feel overwhelmed, that means you need to look at where is it I can delegate. The balance is if there's no balance, then you have to pull back and realize what is wrong with this picture. Where do I need to adjust? And it's probably a time to either seek the coach or a counselor or someone to look and help you evaluate and see, okay, I need to bring somebody on the team to help me with that creation. Otherwise, I'm overwhelmed and I feel like I'm spinning the wheels, not getting anywhere.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a very strong proponent of people who can help you in that way too. I'm a strong believer of massage therapy, acupuncture, chiropractic, right? You know, I'm a strong believer that we have to take care of our bodies. I also believe that sometimes, more often than not, I've had coaches for years. I always have somebody who knows more than I do in my corner. And it's really helped me understand that dance between people and how important that really is. My team is massive. I mean, not just the things that I shared too, right? I've got this whole spiritual team too. I have currently monks in India praying for me. Like, how cool is that?
Wow.
So, yeah, right? My spiritual mentor I've been working with for 3 years has, in so many ways changed almost everything I know about myself. I'm a completely different person because of that beautiful work. And it's not always easy, right? Sometimes it's therapy, sometimes it's EMDR, sometimes it's tapping, sometimes it's breath work, sometimes there's all kinds of ways to get ourselves to the other side of something. All beautiful ways.
There's more than one tool. It's depending what tool works for you at that given time. And then when you have surround yourself with people that help you raise the vibration, we all connected to each other. We have the energy web, and they kind of challenge you to grow and to see the beauty in you and other people. And that helps you to elevate yourself. By elevating yourself, you're bringing everybody else up.
That's exactly right. You're right. That's exactly right. And I have learned some very strong boundaries in my world, not to keep people away, but I've learned boundaries to keep myself safe and whole and happy and right. And in my uniqueness, I can then invite others, and I can invite them all the way in. I just know where my boundaries are set. And that helps us to become much, much better in relationship once we understand that. It took me a while. It was one of my journeys to understand how I would in some ways enmesh with others. I'm actually still on that journey. And how do I bring myself back to center? Which is, I think, why I talk about it so often, because I'm actually walking the walk. I won't teach anything I haven't learned myself. That's just fraudulent.
That's the best way. It's not the degrees are great. You need them if you're a doctor, nurse, attorney, etc. But certain things like degrees teaching you the book stuff, even when you go through traditional training of whether you're an attorney or a doctor or a nurse, etc., are engineering stuff. But the reality, you learn everything when you get in the real world.
Absolutely.
And even that, when you have a degree, you need to have those mentors.
Yep.
To help you learn the walk, so to speak. We're not born to be. We're born as a little precious thing, and we have to take one step at a time. And I don't understand why some business people say, "Oh, I started a business. It's been 2 months. It's not working. Okay, I'm a failure. Okay, goodbye. Close shop." Got to learn to walk first before you start running 5, 10, 20 miles. Or
That's right. That's right. I agree. I absolutely agree.
Jeanne, how do people know if they're doing what they've been designed to do?
It lights them up like a Christmas tree. It lights them up. There's only, right? It's that simple.
Wait, did you say it's that simple?
That simple.
Wow.
What lights you up? And it could be anything. It could be absolutely anything.
Well, then I'm in the right place.
You are in the right place.
It lights me up. I love to hear people's story. I like to get in the depths of what's going on in their mind, how they overcame with certain things. What did they learn? Because we can learn from each other. We can benefit each other's journey, and that's it's so beautiful. We're creating something amazing together, which and being able to see a different perspective from your point of view. And I said, oh, I haven't thought about that, but Jeanne said it so nicely.
I hope so. I hope I said a lot of nice things. So,
so when you say, yeah, you're doing the right things, so it lights you up. It lights me up. Almost feels like it's more for adrenaline. Like I feel like I'm opening up people to a new way of looking at things.
You are.
And it's so beautiful. That's the only word. Amazing and beautiful. The only 2 words I can pretty much describe it. And it's bringing me joy. So hopefully that brings joy to people that listen. They feel that energy.
It's inevitable.
What do you think was the most pivotal point in your career as an artist?
The most pivotal was about 6.5 years ago. I was going through a divorce, and I had moved. I used to live in Raleigh, North Carolina, and now I live in.
That's where I am now, Raleigh, North Carolina.
I know you are. And I moved, and I got a divorce, and I was becoming very unhappy in my work, believe it or not.
Wow. No, I don't.
If you're unhappy doing something you love, there's a problem about it. So at the time, I pulled all my work off of the market, which was a very scary thing to do because I was making a whole bunch of money. I was doing very, very well. And I pulled off my work because I knew that I was about to go through something really hard. And I went into, I guess, what I would call a dark night of the soul, something just very, very hard.
Wow.
And when I walked back into the studio and started painting again, I was a brand new person, and I thought, this is the person who's going to step back in. Well, that didn't happen either. It took a little bit longer. It took, in fact, almost 7 years. And about a year ago, I decided I'm coming back in. And I will share with you that I don't think I'll ever be finished growing and learning and doing all the things that I want to do to expand myself and keep ascending and feeling better about who I am in the world. However, I'm a very, very different person than I was 7 years ago. And that's why I speak to that when we spoke, privately. There is nothing. I mean, there's a core me that's still here.
Sure.
But for the most part, I see the world so completely and utterly differently than I ever did before. And I'm so grateful for the work I did. I'm so grateful that I took my art off the market so that I could go back in and truly recalibrate the kind of artist that I want to be. And it's happening. And I couldn't be happier. I have days where I'm very frightened. I can occasionally wake up with anxiety. I never used to have it. And now suddenly in the last 3 years, I do. And so I know that I'm doing something really big, because if I'm afraid, that means I'm about to rocket ship.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that's helpful, but that was the most pivotal time in my life as an artist, was actually putting it down intentionally. It was a very strange and hard thing to do, but it was so beneficial.
Sometimes you have to do it, and then don't be afraid. That's something that listeners can learn. It's okay to step back and take your time, and you came back stronger than you ever been before, and the happiest you ever been, right?
Thank you. And that's a testament to the other question about working with others. This time I did it differently. I built a very strong foundation.
Oh, okay.
And I called in a team. I said, you know what? I'm not going to do it this other way. It was successful, but it wasn't sustainable. I was absolutely exhausted and I wasn't happy. So I'm going to do it differently this time, and I'm going to let people help me.
So you think that was one of the biggest things you learned, that it's better with the team?
Yeah. And being an artist is already kind of like a solopreneur, right? It's not really something I can't share when I work in the studio, but I can share all of the rest of it. And I don't really want to do the rest of it,
Right.
So I put
Makes sense.
as I say, I put out the call, I put out the prayer, so to speak. Bring me a team who is top notch and world class and has my back and really cares about me and has a strong work ethic. And then I waited and it happened. I'm so excited to keep going. I'm so excited to keep going.
Well, sometimes you need to stand back and evaluate and see what you want to change. And it may take more than a day or two. In your case, it took a few years.
A few years. Well, there was a lot of healing going on in there as well. It wasn't just about the art, which is a whole different podcast.
Yes, of course it is. What legacy do you want to leave? What's next for Jeanne?
Wow. I want to be I'm working on something very personal right now that I will be bringing to the public.
Sure, we'll wait for the next podcast. I'll be here. I'll be here.
Layers, but I'm going to share it. I'm going to tease you. I'm going to share it like a sneak.
Tease us. We'll love it.
Because I have a healer background, I've brought in some really, really special people. And because of my abilities as an empath and an intuitive and a psychic and somebody who can tap into other people's energies, I am marrying art and energy, art and healing in a very, very, very different way. My paintings are being embedded and infused with actual energetics, quantum energetics that clients can choose. I want more health. I want to be cancer-free. I want, I don't obviously can't claim to cure cancer. However, my paintings have a place in the world and it's never been done before. So that is my legacy, to heal the world one painting at a time.
That's amazing. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. That's exciting for you. Is that what gets you out of bed, all excited to say, yeah, I'm doing it?
It sure can, especially if you've had a rough patch of it. And I know a lot of us are coming out of rough patches right now. And so I just want to say, keep going as my closing statement. keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. That's what I always say. Just keep going.
Keep going, keep going, keep going. Yeah. If you can relate creativity, spirituality, and your uniqueness to a business, how would you summarize all of that?
Follow me. I'll show you the way.
Yeah.
Doing it. I am doing it. I'm here to help anybody who wants to learn. So follow me. I'll show you the way.
That's awesome. Anything else you want to add that we didn't cover? We talked about
Dove into all kinds of fun rabbit holes. Thank you so much.
How do we follow you, Jeanne?
It would be very difficult not to see me on social media. I have a website. I am very active on Facebook. I am very active on Instagram. I'm very active, about to be very active on YouTube. JeanneBessette.com or Google Jeanne Bessette, and you will find me. My web designer does all the CEO, so it's very, very hard not to find me.
Okay, bonus question. You ready?
Go.
I've never asked anybody that question. I feel compelled.
Okay.
What do you think the world will look like in 10 years?
Which
10
world?
years. Our world.
Well, there's more than one. Which one do
Pick one.
Well, I'm going to be on the ascended one. There will be two worlds. One will be a little bit more like the one we have now. More than likely be somewhat more integrated with AI. Probably bigger cities with all kinds of technology. I believe that the other world will be more organic in nature. There will be more people that are expanding their awarenesses and wanting to help and assist with others as opposed to the selfishness that is here. I believe that we do have the possibility to eradicate war. I hope that that's true. But I do believe that we'll all be living on the same planet, but we'll be living in different worlds. It's just a belief that I have. You get to choose. And I consider myself, because I have such a strong knowing for myself in what I just said, I consider myself a bridge maker. I want to come over to the bright side? Come on. Let's go. Let's go do it. So I think people are asking for more heart. And I'm hoping that we can build a world that's just that. In fact, one of the projects I'm working on is called Gaia Rising. I think I may have mentioned that to you in the past, maybe not. And it's 10 to 14 very large paintings, and we are going to bring it to the world. And it's to bring conscious awareness and healing to give us a better understanding of the beautiful world we've been given and kind of what we've done to it. So that is another project that I'm working on for next year, and it's a very exciting project. So we shall see what unfolds for Jeanne Bessette.
We shall see.
Indeed.
I made you answer, of course, the bonus question. Amazing. I didn't expect anything different. Thank you. To summarize, keep your uniqueness up, keep yourself at peace, and build a better world for yourself and people around you. But all in all, the most thing that's important is to have peace within yourself and create from that peace and allow yourself to be in the flow every day. If you get stuck, it's okay. We all been there. Just take a couple of deep breaths and keep on going. Keep your flow, keep your creation, and always keep your peace. And I really appreciate you being here, and enjoy spending time with you and co-creating with this energy. It's amazing.
Thank you, my dear. It was such a pleasure to be with you as well. And I look forward to hearing the podcast and sharing it with my own audience. And I'm looking
Thank you. And I'm looking forward to all of your amazing and exciting projects. And we'll be talking and seeing each other soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for joining in. It really means so much to me that I can share these pearls with everyone. Many thanks to Jeanne for sharing her view on how art makes life go from monochrome to all colors. And that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Sometimes we need to hear that, because I think we all can lose sight of the fact that difficult times can be transformative and lead to personal and artistic growth. If you're thinking with what you heard, please like, subscribe, and comment. It helps the channel so much. Until next time, see you!